This is the video I've been avoiding to make, okay? And not for any deeply personal reasons, not because it's hard stuff to talk about, but mostly because I did not want to listen to any Offspring music. But you know what I just did? I listened to all of the Offspring music and it melted my brain. I did not enjoy like the last 8 hours of my life, but you know what? That's what it's all about. Those are the kinds of sacrifices I'm out here making in the name of good content. Hey ladies, how's it going? Dan Frampton here, and today we're gonna go through the Offspring discography, their entire catalog, to pinpoint the actual day that this band died. Not the day that I stopped liking this band, because that was before they were even existing, okay? But the day that they died in like the bigger picture or whatever. And this stuff goes back farther than I could have possibly imagined. I felt like Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia in front of his conspiracy board going through their little discography here. It started in 1989 with their self-titled release. It was 10 songs, 28 minutes, which you'd think would be a breezy listen. You'd think it would just fly by, but that was not the case. It felt like this thing dragged on and on and on. This wasn't very good. This wasn't catchy. This wasn't tight. The musicianship was awful. The guitar playing lackluster. The vocals so bad. Not impressive or catchy or tight in any capacity. I have no idea what gave these guys the motivation to keep going, because if I put out this record and it went out to the public, I'd be extremely embarrassed, okay? This stuff is very bad. So my verdict is it's not alive yet, but you can't really kill what hasn't existed, in my opinion, you know? So they're not dead in the water. They're out there just trying to be the Offspring, I guess. Dexter is just sounding so bad on all these tracks, but alas, they continue on. Out of the 80s and into the 90s, we're gonna get some grunge-inspired pop-punk tunes on this thing called Ignition. Now immediately, it's a lot better than the last record. It's leaps and bounds more listenable than the last record, okay? The guitar playing has improved, slightly, but it has improved. Dexter is starting to sound like he's writing with purpose and has an idea of what he wants his songs to sound like. But there's that grunge-era alternative rock influence all over this thing that I can't stand. But it does have some catchy moments, and they are starting to sound like the Offspring. So my verdict on this record, Ignition, 1992, A Baby is Born. And you know who births that baby? Epitaph. And then in 1994, Epitaph would birth another baby called Smash. And this thing would go on to smash all sorts of records. I think even to this day, it is the highest selling independent released album. Now, I could be wrong about that, but that was the whole legend about this thing. It put Epitaph on the map. It put Offspring on the map. There are so many classic tracks on this record that completely define that era of the 90s. Absolutely quintessential songs. This is a must-listen to record if you're going back for music history purposes. There's no doubt about it. They are the Offspring now. It has a strong sense of identity. It's catchy. It's angsty. I still don't love it, but I gotta respect its place in history. My verdict on this thing is, yeah, it's kinda alive and ready to take over the world. And because you know it's one of the highest selling independent releases, it's gonna have the major labels being like, can we get a piece of that pie, please? How's about you come over here, Offspring? So that's what they do on Ixnay on the Hombre. Ixnay is Pig Latin for nix, okay? Hombre is Spanish for the man or whatever. So this thing is supposed to be nix the man, or fuck the man, fuck the authority, fuck the system or whatever. And it's supposed to be their like punk rock album. And to be fair, it kinda is. It kinda is their like skate punk record. It's kind of aggressive, it's kind of fast, it's kind of catchy, it's kind of fun, it's kind of got a political message to it. And it is, in my opinion, their most well-rounded album, okay? It's my favorite thing that they've dropped. Not only up until this point, but of all time. That doesn't mean I'm going back to listen to it or anything, but it is alive, it is kicking, it is doing well. So even though creatively and artistically it is my favorite Offspring record, it kind of failed to live up to what Smash did before it. Because Smash was the record that smashed all the records, if that makes sense, you know? But this thing didn't necessarily have the same impact. So they're like, okay, we got to go back to the drawing board. And the very next year, in 1998, they put out Americana, which would be a highly pop record. Okay, this thing is the most pop thing ever. This is the one with Pretty Fly for a White Guy. The kids aren't all right, and why don't you get a job, okay? This is that huge, huge record for them, which would go on to be their like second most selling record other than Smash. Which is crazy, because Smash has those songs that define the early 90s, and this record has the songs that defined the late 90s. So even though I'm not a huge Offspring fan, it is kind of cool and impressive that they spanned the whole decade and managed to influence during all the times of it. But in my opinion, this record sucks so hard, but they remain alive in spite of that. But on November 14th in the year 2000, that would be the day they died, when they released Conspiracy of One. This is the corniest, this is the wackest, this is the stupidest, this is the most offensive rock album to ever exist. Gone are the skate punk roots, okay? Now they're trying to like be that tongue-in-cheek, corny pop band or whatever. It's a total suckfest pandering to that fake suburban angst. The song Original Prankster can fuck the fuck off. This thing is so dead. Dead in the water, dead on the land, dead in the sky, dead everywhere you could possibly be. This record sucks so fucking much. It sucks so much, in fact, that in 2003, when they put out Splinter, I didn't know about it. In fact, I didn't know about it until I started listening to the music for this video. I was like, what the fuck is Splinter? What the fuck is this album cover? What is going on here, Offspring? And now they're trying to be like this fake anthemic band. It's like, okay, Offspring trying to be Imagine Dragons? What can be worse than that? Nothing. It is so bad. And then, again, in 2008, 5 years later, they'd put out this thing, which would be even worse than the last thing. They're just progressively getting worse and worse and worse. It's horrible. It's awful. It's disgusting. It's the worst Dexter has ever sounded. It's the least good he's ever written. This is the worst record so far. Just go away. Just stay dead, but they're not gonna. 4 years later, in 2012, they're gonna put out Days Go By. And I don't know if enough time has passed for this to like freshen up or whatever, but I do know it hasn't. It sucks. Who the hell is listening to 2012 era Offspring? I don't think that's a person. I don't think this record exists for a person out there in the world. It's spineless, it's toothless, it's heartless, it's soulless. It's not even Walking Dead. It's not a zombie. It's completely dead and buried. And the album cover would even go as far to suggest as much. So at this point in the timeline, we're all certain the Offspring is dead, okay? It's the year 2012. The years are flipping over. 2013, 14, 15, 16, still no Offspring. 17, 18, 19, still no Offspring. 20, 21? Okay, the year 2021, we finally get an Offspring record called Let the Bad Times Roll, and Dexter is absolutely unrecognizable on this thing. We were lucky enough to go almost a full decade without an Offspring release, but here they are. They won't stay down, they won't stay dead. Here's another thing full of crap tracks. I wonder if this thing got any nostalgia listens from the Gen Xers that came up with the band. Something tells me not so much. But that isn't where our story ends, okay? It was recently that the Offspring put out a Christmas record, okay? And this Christmas record, these batch of Christmas songs are so hilarious. Who is this band and what have you done with the Offspring? So I don't know, have you grown up with the Offspring? Have you ever liked the Offspring? Have they ever been a band that like resonated with you in any capacity? I wanna know, let me know. And before you bounce on out of here, please like, comment, and subscribe. Ring the bell if you're cool as hell, and until my next upload, you can watch another upload.